How are we going to handle the Jeff Lebby stuff, Ted? Because there are rumors, TCU, Georgia, Bama. Lebby is a very good friend of yours. How do we want to handle this? What do we want to say about all of this?
Well, I'll say that I don't think he's leaving. Now, I don't know that for sure. I don't have any like inside intel on that. I don't think he's leaving. Number one, I don't think it makes sense for him to leave to Bama or Georgia or TCU before that opportunity was taken. I know that both Bama and Georgia have it going better right now than Oklahoma, but it's still a lateral move. Whenever you look at like his progression as position coach, as co-coordinator, and working his way up through some smaller schools, to a mid-tier SEC at Ole Miss, calling plays there, and now you're at a blue blood Oklahoma. Didn't have a great year, understand that, but if you take another offensive coordinator job, that's a lateral move, in my opinion. I think his next move needs to be a head coaching position. I think it's great that you have a commodity out there that people want, right? The system that he runs is a system that people value. They see how good it is. You know, Bama and Georgia, both of them played Tennessee. Bama lost, Georgia won, but they see what's going on with that style of offense. I also think that Saban and even Kirby Smart at Georgia, those are defensive minded coaches, right? And more so whenever you look at Alabama, does it matter who Alabama has at offensive coordinator? No, not really. I think that if Jeff Lebby were to go into Alabama and win a national championship, the credit would go to Saban and the credit would go to the players, right? You're taking over a thankless position there. But I think that Saban also sees that in Georgia that Oklahoma's coming. And if you can get a really good offensive coordinator and chop one of the legs out from under Oklahoma right now, they've seen the recruiting class. They know what's happening here. They see like the facility changes. They know Venable's history and his pedigree. They know what's happening. And I think as much as anything, it is a move to slow down Oklahoma's ascent. So I don't think he's leaving. I could be wrong about that. You know, they've got a lot of resources to throw at people, right? And, you know, I guess you never know. It's a pretty, you know, it's a pretty intoxicating offer to have, you know, the best who's ever done it, blowing your phone up and throwing a ton of money your way to go to the program that has the best players in the country year in and year out. That's a hard thing to turn down. But where we sit right now, I think Lebby's going to hang around Oklahoma.
Yeah, and I agree with you when it comes to the opportunity he has at Oklahoma, at his alma mater, right? Mm-hmm. That matters, but I always thought Lebby's next step would be head coach. And if he's able to really get this thing going next season with Oklahoma's offense, probably going to be a head coach the year after that. And I think this whole situation, because let's be clear, he turned down Bama. He turned down Georgia, turned down TCU, right? And I think this may be an eye-opener for some OU fans, right? Especially we received some stuff throughout the season like, hey, why aren't you guys more critical of Jeff Lebby and the offense? And I think the best way to answer that is because we know the system is good, and we know the reputation and the amount of respect he has around the country and the coaching community. So we tend to, especially as former players, tend to say, hey, players got to execute. You got to do your job. right? The plays are there to be made. The guys weren't executing at a high enough level. Now, Lebby wasn't perfect, don't get me wrong, but I think this is an eye-opening experience for a lot of OU fans when we've been saying, like, hey, Jeff Lebby is one of the best. And OU should be thrilled to have him as their offensive coordinator and to hold on to him as their offensive coordinator. I could only imagine how the OU fans, and I don't think it was that many OU fans, probably a small portion, that were like, we need to move on from Lebby. He's not the guy. Well, Kirby Smart wanted him. Nick Saban wanted him. So I'm assuming those fans are reassessing their stance, going, maybe we had that one wrong.
Yeah. And I get it, man. I get the frustration. We need something to blame. We want something to blame. Like, where can we point the finger and get rid of that and feel way better back about ourselves and what we have, right? That's kind of how this thing plays out, it feels like. But we're going to be fine offensively. If we can get the bodies in there, if we can execute, I think that having a year under our belt, running this system, and a group of players that kind of understand it, a bigger core that understand it, it's not a transition year, it's a developmental year is kind of what I've been saying about it. And I think that's going to be the case. Now, there's a lot of work to be done. And, I think there's a high ceiling, but there's also a lot of unknown as to can we hit that high ceiling or not. But the system is there. The biggest thing we had last year that was, just slapped the governor on our offense was the not having the ability to really turn the quarterback run game loose because of our backup quarterback situation. Hopefully we've got a handle on that with, a stud true freshman coming in. But I would say right now, I know he's ranked really high. He's looked fantastic. He's got a great set of skills, really good kid, but I still don't know. And we still don't know until we get him here and he goes through spring ball. And we may hear some people say, man, we got us a backup quarterback now. This kid's going to be a stud. And you feel great because that's not what we got last year. Last year, after like 2 practices, we've got a backup quarterback issue, right? And they knew it right out of the gate. And that was a big limiting factor for us the entire year. So hopefully as some personnel changes and we get to where we're in a little bit better of a spot, we start to see what this offense truly is capable of.
Yep. And hopefully things stay the same and Jeff Lebby remains the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't sound like Saban is taking no for an answer very well. Which not many people say no to that man when he offers him a job. So
yeah, I think that Saban is I honestly feel like he's in a position, and this isn't to say anything about I think Lebby's awesome. But I feel like Saban is in a position where he's trying to chop a leg out from under Oklahoma. I really do. We're coming to the SEC. He doesn't like this offense. He wants to put it in on his team, and to be able to slow down what Oklahoma has going right now, which looks really good. So some of the stuff that we've done in the offseason, the transfer portal recruiting. So I really believe that may not be all of it, but I think that's definitely a piece of it.